All right, welcome back. We are going to start Unit 6 of our ACT Prep, which is going to be plane geometry topics. So day 1, we're going to talk about basic elements of plane geometry. Okay, plane geometry has to do with 2 dimensions, but 3-dimensional concepts tested on the ACT are also reviewed in this chapter. Some important elements and concepts, along with their models and symbols, are given below. So, a point. A point is a position or a location. It has no length or volume. And you just label it with a dot and the capital letter, and you would say that's point A. A line is a straight path with an infinite number of points extending infinitely in both directions. It only takes 2 points to determine a line. Points on the same line are called collinear points. Okay, so this would be a line AB. And the symbol that represents line AB is this AB, and it's kind of hard to see. It's not a very good copy, I guess. And you put a bar with two little arrows above it, and that represents a line AB. The arrows above it are what tell you that it's a line instead of a line segment, okay? Because the arrows suggest that the line goes on forever, infinitely in both directions, okay? Parallel lines are lines that never intersect. We've talked about parallel lines before. And you know, in order for 2 lines to be parallel, they have to have the same slope. But they never intersect. Okay? The notation AB, and these 2 lines mean parallel to CD, is red. Line AB is parallel to line CD. Okay, that's parallel lines. Perpendicular lines intersect to form right angles. So they make a 90-degree angle wherever they intersect. And the notation AB, line AB, is perpendicular to line CD. That's how that is read. Okay, this symbol, an upside down T, represents perpendicular. Now, skew lines are lines that are in 3 dimensions, that are not parallel, but they never intersect. So if you look at line AB, this line here would go forever and ever in this direction. Line DF would go this direction forever and ever and ever, but because it's in 3 dimensions, those lines will never cross. So we would say AB and DF are skew lines. Okay, a line segment is just a portion of the line with 2 endpoints. So you notice they don't have arrows anymore. They end with endpoints. So you're just talking about a segment of a line. A line goes on forever and ever and ever. A line segment is just a portion of that line. And the symbol we use to represent line segment AB is just a straight bar over it, no arrows. Okay? And if you're talking about the actual length of that segment, then you don't put the over bar. You would say AB equals 4 centimeters. Okay? You don't put the bar over it when you talk about the length. All right, a ray is still a portion of the line, but it has 1 endpoint, and then it extends infinitely in one direction. So one end is a point and one end is an arrow. When describing a ray, the endpoint is written first. So this ray right here, ray AB, would be written like this, and notice how it just has 1 arrow. Okay? A plane is a flat surface that extends infinitely in all directions. Think of a plane as a piece of paper almost. Okay? And if you take 3 points in that plane that are non-collinear, it takes 3 non-collinear points to determine a plane. All right, so try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And you should have gotten that line AB is perpendicular to line AC. It says, which statement is true about the figure shown below? This says that AB is perpendicular to CD. Well, here's AB, and here is CD. They are not perpendicular, they're actually parallel, so that's not true. Then it says that AC is parallel to CD. Well, here's AC, and here's CD. That's not true, they're perpendicular, so that should be that symbol to be true. The next one says that AD is perpendicular to AB. Well, here's AD, and here's AB, line AB. Those are not perpendicular because that's not a 90-degree angle, so that's not true. If I check the next one, AB is perpendicular to AC. Well, here's AB, here's AC. That indicates a 90-degree angle, so that's true. And you could talk about the last one, but I found the answer. It says ray AC is equal to ray CD. You have no way of knowing that, so we don't know that they're equal. We can't assume that they're equal. Okay? Alright, so to do some little practice problems here, let's see if you learned your definitions. It says, how many points determine a line? 2. It only takes 2 points to determine a line. It says, draw a model of line AB. Well, a line has to have arrows on both ends, and then you put points on it, AB. And the symbol used to represent line AB is a bar with 2 arrows and AB underneath it. What are parallel lines? Parallel lines never intersect, and they have equal slopes. And it says B, draw a model for 2 parallel lines, A, B, and CD. Well, you can do whatever you want, but there's A, B, and draw one parallel means they will never cross, so there's CD. Okay? Write the symbol for parallel lines. There you go. And you might see it sideways. I've always kind of tilted mine, but apparently straight up and down is okay too. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. B, draw a model of 2 perpendicular lines, AB and CD. Well, if I make AB go this way, then I could do CD this way. And you could draw this a million different ways, but those 2 lines would be perpendicular. And the symbol for perpendicular lines is that upside down T. Okay? 4. How many points are needed to determine a plane? 3. And if you remember, the model of the plane was like a piece of paper with 3 non-collinear points, A, B, C. A line segment is just a portion of a line with 2 endpoints, with an endpoint at each end, I guess I should say. So to draw a model of a line segment, AB, that means A starts it, goes to B, but it continues on through B forever and ever and ever. Okay? Right. Write the symbol for line segment AB. That would just be a straight line over AB. What is a ray? A ray is, again, it's a portion of the line with an endpoint on one end and an arrow on the other. B, draw a model of ray AB. Well, it means A is the endpoint, but again, it continues on through B. Oh, what? I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, line segment up here, my bad. It ends at B. Sorry, I was thinking of a ray up there. Sorry. Line segment back up to 5. Line segment ends. So it has 2 endpoints. I said that and then drew it wrong. Sorry. Alright, a ray starts at A and goes through B forever and ever and ever. The symbol for ray AB would be an arrow over AB. Okay? Oops. Number 7, it says, draw a diagram of 4 lines that intersect in 3 points. Well, if you make 2 lines this way and 1 line this way, okay, there's your 1, oh, and this way. And there's your 2, and there's your 3 intersection points. Okay? Explain the difference between parallel lines and skew lines. Parallel lines are in the 2nd dimension and never cross. Skew lines are in the 3rd dimension, like that cube we saw, and they never cross. Okay, 9 says draw a diagram of ray DE is perpendicular to ray FD. So here would be DE, but it's a ray. And it's perpendicular to FD. So I'd have to start at F, go through D, and that would be FD, and they're perpendicular. 10. Segment PQ is 1 centimeter long. How many points does it contain? Infinite. Even though it's 1 centimeter long, there's still an infinite number of points in that 1 centimeter. Okay? Alright, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And this symbol means perpendicular. This means line segments. So you're not saying line AB and line CD. Those would have to have arrows on both ends. You're not saying ray because you'd have to have an arrow on one end. Skewed would have to mean that they were that they're parallel, not even perpendicular. Segment AB is parallel to segment CD. No, they're not parallel, but it's a segment AB that's perpendicular to segment CD. Try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And it says lines XY and WZ are both perpendicular to RS. Which statement must be true if all three lines lie in the same plane? Well, it says you have one line RS. And it says that XY and WZ are both perpendicular. Well, if it's perpendicular, XY has to make a 90-degree angle. And WZ has to be perpendicular. Well, the only way they can both be perpendicular to this line is if they're parallel to each other. So that's got to be true. Okay? Try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. Alright, which of the following is true of ray KL? It extends infinitely both directions. No, that would be a line. Its end point is L. No, because it says ray KL. It means the end point's on K and the arrow goes through L. Line segment, rays don't have a length because it goes on forever and ever and ever. It goes on forever, so you can't measure the length. D, it contains exactly 2 points, K and L. No line or ray contains 2 points. There's an infinite number of points on a line, on a ray, on a line segment. So there's no exactly 2 points on any line or ray or segment. And E, it is a portion. Oh, that sounds like the definition of a ray. It's a portion of a line beginning with point K. That's true. Okay, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. Gee, did I give that one away? The opposite edges of a piece of paper are, well, if you talk about opposite edges, they're parallel to each other. Okay. Try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got the length of a segment. The notation FG, there's no bar above it. So remember that was the length of a segment, not a line. You can't measure the length of a line because a line goes on forever and ever and ever. Okay? And that does it for our first day of plane geometry. I will see you for day 2.